over the internet.
Good evening, and thanks for coming out to the band shell this evening, and welcome to Radio Icebox Live. If you're a listener to our podcast, you already know about the little town of Icebox, Minnesota, where a meteorite struck in 1975 knocked out all wireless communication except for a small, mostly legal radio station called Radio Icebox. The town is a little different. Weird, some folks would say, and the radio station reflects that. But the people are nice, and life is very seldom boring. And it's kind of nice having a real community radio station to listen to, even if you don't have much of a choice. Folks in Icebox could have cable or TV or the internet, but whenever those companies come around, they never find enough people interested. Folks in Icebox are just used to having their own little radio station, which they know all their neighbors listen to. While the rest of us struggle to figure out whether to tweet or message or email, the residents of this town know that if it's on Radio Icebox, everybody's going to hear it. It's 6 a.m., the very beginning of an ordinary day. The lake is smooth as glass, the sun, already up for an hour, is beginning to shine brightly, and the first stirs of life are heard in the little studio situated in the basement of the town's historic opera house.
JJ.
Huh?
JJ.
5 more minutes, Mom. I don't want to go to school.
JJ, you're on.
What?
You're on the air.
What, before coffee?
You have coffee right there.
No, I don't. Oh, wait. Yes, I do.
You're on the air.
No, I'm not.
You really are.
Look, if I were on the air, Cody would tell me.
JJ.
Yeah, Cody? Wait. Good morning. It's 6:04 at Radio Icebox, and here is the beginning of your broadcast day. Thank you so much for tuning us in. We'll have a school lunch, community events, and more right after this brief programming message. Coming this fall on Radio Icebox.
It's tragedy, Cecil. If Grandmama finds out I've accidentally killed the Italian ambassador, it will create a scandal from which the family shall never recover.
The story of a young girl with a huge heart and a serious delusion.
The manor house must be saved.
It's Downtown Abbey. The story of a woman named Abby who lives in an apartment downtown, but thinks she lives in England during the Edwardian era.
Oh, pish-posh, Grandmama. I shall go into the village and do the marketing myself. This is 1913, after all.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm a liberated woman.
Well, liberate yourself down to Super One and get my Diet Coke.
Yes, it's Downtown Abbey, the story of a poor Minnesota girl who decided she'd rather be a rich English woman.
I can't stand the thought of marrying and leaving Piercegood Manor. It's the only home I've ever known. And you, Rothschild, our loyal butler, you are my only true friend.
Okay, but do you want fries with that?
Downtown Abbey, the story of a woman obsessed with saving a huge estate when in fact she lives in 2 rooms above an insurance office.
Father, we must modernize or the estate will be lost.
For Ned's sake, Abby, what estate? We've been living on 7th Street since you were born.
But, Father, what of you and Mother? What of the generations to come?
Well, I put in 2 more years at the sewer department. Then Mom and I'll be fine. As for future generations, ain't gonna be none if you keep weirding out all the boys.
Oh, Papa, I'm not ready to marry any man.
Yeah, and they're not ready for you.
Downtown Abbey, coming this fall on Radio Icebox.
I say, cricket, anyone?
Nah, it's just a really big mosquito.
Ew!
Time now for news headlines from the Radio Icebox newsroom. This is Haywood Jabuzoff reporting. Fire struck the Wilsons' chicken farm overnight, destroying 3 coops and leaving a 4th partially damaged. Area fire crews responded in record time. but the lateness of the hour and the distance from the station to the event made containing the blaze very difficult. Fire Chief Harley Droba would not speculate on the cause of the blaze, though he did hint that the mysterious lights in the sky over Big Space Rock Lake might be to blame. Droba went on to comment that in his opinion, last night's fire smelled more delicious than any fire his department has fought since the popcorn warehouse went up in 2001. The Wilsons are fully insured and made $300 extra last night serving chicken dinners to neighbors, the fire crew, and several campers attracted by the aroma. Police were called to the normally quiet block of Pond Avenue last night in response to a report of an illegal fight ring in the backyard of Einar and Polly Conrad's home. The Conrads currently being out of town at a steampunk convention. Officers discovered a large crowd of onlookers placing illegal wagers on a bare-knuckle boxing match between two women dressed in French maid costumes. Two other combatants were dressed as English butlers, waited nearby to fight each other with silver serving trays. This is the first reported case of domestic violence in Icebox since 2012.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Eds Grass. Ed mows grass. Ed will mow any grass with his mower. Ed will mow your grass if you give him money. Give Ed money and he will mow your grass with his mower. Contact Eds Grass at furrycupcake566@gmail.com and he will mow your grass. For money. Eds Grass. Only it's not Ed's grass, it's your grass, which he will mow. Ed wrote this commercial.
Time now on Radio Icebox for another visit with Dee Dee Foliot and her garden party. A chance to learn everything about plants and planting. Hello there, Dee Dee.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be back here.
How are things going down at the nursery? An exciting time of year, isn't it?
Well, the nursery and I have parted ways, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, it's a sad time.
Didn't you own the nursery?
Well, yes.
Wasn't it called Dee Dee's Nursery?
Yes, but a few of my staff thought it would be better if I moved on.
What on earth for?
Oh, you know how it is. Sometimes it's good to have a little new blood around the place. That's what the judge said, anyway.
The judge? Never mind. Well, thank you very much for coming in to talk to us.
Oh, of course. Gardening is still my life, and I love chatting with you on the radio.
Oh, wonderful. Now, given our time of year, what should gardeners be worried about now?
Well, if I were them, I'd be worried about the election.
What?
Oh, just a little joke.
Oh, of course.
We can have fun in the garden, you know. It's not like we're all sticks in the mud.
Oh, of course not.
Unless, of course, you'd like to talk about sticks in the mud. I have some very strong opinions on that subject.
Okay, no. Maybe we should focus on what to do in your garden this time of year.
Fine. This time of year, it's good to fertilize. I like a mixture of nitrogen-rich phosphates, which can be attained in a basic bone meal mix.
Bone meal?
Yes.
Now, is that mix available at our local gardening store?
Well, yes, but I prefer to make my own. Just mix 2 parts of compost with ground-up bones from the butcher shop.
Bones?
Yes. Beef, chicken, miscellaneous. Really doesn't matter. You can usually buy bones cheap or even free if you're willing to flirt with the butcher.
Okay.
Now, grinding them up is kind of hard, but if you don't mind getting your hands bloody, it's worth the effort.
Okay.
This is also a very good time of year for bedding flowers.
Oh, now I would have thought those would need to be in by now.
And right you are, generally. But there are some varieties that germinate in a much shorter time and should be put in later in the season.
All right. And what varieties are those?
They're all called Larry.
What?
There's pink Larry and red Larry and white Larry. They're a lovely flower with very small, tightly wrapped petals, and they do best in medium sun.
And is Larry available at our local gardening center?
Of course.
So the listeners should go to the garden center and ask for Larry.
Of course not. The staff doesn't know they're called Larry. I'm the only one that knows because I'm the only one they'll talk to.
Oh, so you're a believer in talking to your plants.
Yes, but I mostly just listen.
You listen to your plants.
Yes. Mostly they're boring, but two of my begonias are working on a screenplay together. It's one of those awful action pictures, but they say Jackie Chan is perfect for the role.
Your plants told you this.
They practiced their elevator pitch on me.
Okay. Other than bones and talking begonias, what gardening issues should we be looking out for this year?
Well, of course, it's always a good idea to look out for pests.
Oh, yes. I would imagine pests are a very big part of gardening. What pests should we be looking out for?
Well, there aren't many slugs this far north, but we do have a tiny variety that can really wreak havoc on your tomatoes.
Okay. And how do we take care of slugs?
Fire.
What?
I like to use an aerosol can with a lit match. If you use Pledge or similar furniture polish with a very wide spray, you can torch 50, 60 of those suckers in one go. It's really quite spectacular. The flames shooting out, their tiny corpses writhing on the ground.
Oh, please, anyone listening, please do not do that. It is extremely dangerous.
Especially for the slugs.
What, doesn't this destroy your plants, too?
Well, that's why you have to get them when they're still parachuting in.
Who's parachuting in?
The slugs.
The slugs have parachutes.
Well, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I put out eggshells, I put out slug bait, they still get in there. I figure it must be an aerial attack.
Have you seen this?
No. They come by cover of night.
How could slugs possibly parachute in by cover of night?
Well, if they have parachutes, they certainly can afford night vision.
Okay. Leaving all that aside...
Remember, an Ohio blue tip match and lemon pledge.
Leaving all that aside, how do things look at the farmer's market this year?
Oh, very upbeat. You know, it's difficult to grow many vegetables this far north, but us Northlanders are a resourceful lot. And with the aid of greenhouses, I think we'll have a bumper crop of farmers in the first market this year.
You mean a bumper crop of vegetables?
Well, those too. Once the farmer is germinated and grown to maturity, they usually get right to work planting and cultivating those fresh veggies.
The farmer?
Yes.
Once the farmer germinates.
Well, that's what I said, dear.
So, Dee Dee, question for you.
Yeah?
What exactly do you think they sell at the farmer's market?
Farmers, of course.
Oh, no.
Fresh, organically grown farmers, picked at peak ripeness. In fact, if you visit the farmer's market, you'll notice most of the farmers still have dirt and mud around their roots.
You mean feet?
Whatever. That's why it's so important to wash your farmer once you get him home.
Dee Dee?
Some people like to can or cook their farmers. I like to eat mine raw.
Question, Dee Dee.
Yes, dear?
When you left the nursery, did the judge say anything about seeing a psychiatrist?
Oh, he might have said something, but I didn't really listen.
Uh-huh.
So the judge was a giant gopher, and I never listen to rodents, unless it's a Thursday.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this edition of Garden Party.
Though sometimes I make an exception if there's a full moon. And my cat, Mr. Whiskerpants, tells me to.
This is the last in our current series.
7:17 now at Radio Icebox, and we are so pleased to have in studio live music all the way from International Falls to here in Icebox, Darcy Sullivan. Darcy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And what exactly, now, how long have you been playing guitar? I'd like to know that.
About 20 years, I guess.
Oh, my goodness. So you going to get good anytime soon? Or? Oh.
Ba-bum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum. When I look like me and you look like you, I should not be making fun of you. Anyway, thank you so much for coming into studio today, and you have a tune for us, I hope.
Yep, an old Hank Williams song.
Fantastic, Hank Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, live on air, it's Darcy Sullivan.
Hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds blue to fly. I've never seen a night so long when time goes crawling by. The moon just went behind a cloud to hide its face and cry. Did you ever see a robin weep when leaves begin to die? That means he's lost the will to live. Oh, I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of a falling star lights up the purple sky. And as I wonder where you are, oh, I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Darcy Sullivan. Hey, can you stick around? Do another song a little bit later?
I can.
Okay, fantastic. It is currently 7:21 at Radio Icebox.
A little before the bottom of the hour here at Radio Icebox, it's time to take a look at the community events calendar. The Icebox Community Hamburger Society will be holding a weenie roast at Lake River Park Saturday. Festivities to begin at 1 p.m. This is the annual opportunity for hamburger lovers with no sense of humor to ridicule, make fun of, or humiliate hot dogs. This year's roast will feature area comedians doing their best to devalue tube meats and, by extension, elevate the hamburger status in society. The roast will be followed by a barbecue, and this being an even-numbered year, steak, chicken, and other meats that aren't hot dogs will be allowed. Just use the special segregated grill down by the river. Please bring a dish to share, condiments provided. The Icebox Community Library and Liquor Store will be wrapping up their summer reading festival next week with a picnic and award ceremony on the lawn in front of City Hall. This year's big winners are little Heather Anderson, who read 10,000 hours this summer and will receive the grand prize of a 10-speed bike. On the liquor store side of things, the big winner is Leon Donaldson, who was the first to drink his weight in beer this summer and will receive a beer stein with his name on it. Both Donaldson and Heather will have their names added to the Liquor Library's Ring of Honor, situated above the bar/checkout desk.
Community events on Radio Icebox brought to you by Dan's Hobby Hut. If you've got a hobby, Dan has what you need because he has every hobby known to man and stocks all the supplies for anything you might want to do. From airplane models to model railroading, board games, quilting and sewing for the ladies, it's all there at Dan's Hobby Hut. Just please, if you come in, don't touch anything. He's serious this time. Dan's inventory was hand-selected from suppliers all over the world for its quality, value, and price. And if you're not going to appreciate the effort Dan put in, don't touch anything. As a matter of fact, just don't come in at all. Dan's Hobby Hut on Main Street across from the Busy Bee. It all belongs to him, so don't touch anything.
Just about 9 a.m. now on Icebox Radio. Here are some brief community messages. Freedom with a message for Bob. Please pick up a quart of sour cream. And don't get the chunky kind this time. To the party looking to hire a boat to get into Canada, we have a message from you-know-who. Forget it, unless my sister can come along. And finally, to everyone within our listening area, the Icebox Police Department would like to remind you to avoid walking through Lake River Park at night. There is a widening sinkhole, which appears to be a portal to another dimension. Please try to avoid interdimensional travel without the proper approval from Homeland Security. Okay, we have a special treat now from the Radio Icebox Actors Guild. It's a brand new addition from their ongoing series, First Draft Playhouse. Take it away, kids.
It's time once again for First Draft Playhouse, the program where you get to hear all your favorite shows before they ever saw the brutal attack of an editor. Yes, this is how TV and radio sounded direct from the mind of the writer. Tonight's episode, a Western classic in the spirit of Bonanza and the Big Valley. It's The Carsons of Diablo Gulch. As we open our scene, Ma Carson, the strong-willed matriarch of the indomitable Carson clan, looks out at the 1,000 head of cattle she calls her own.
Ah, that smell. There's nothing like the sights and sounds of my own ranch, which I built with my own 2 hands without interference from a man. Truly, I am content and want nothing more from my life. The sights and sounds of my own ranch, which I built with my own 2 hands without interference from a man. My only regret is not having a family.
Hello, Ma. It's I, Roger, your only son and heir to this majestic spread, which you built without interference from a man.
But if there wasn't interference from a man, how do I have a son?
What do you mean?
Well, to get a son, wouldn't a man have to, interfere?
Ma, it's I, your only son, adopted from the local Indian tribe.
Hello, Roger.
Oh, Ma, call me by my Indian name. Hangs out with white folks. Call me by my Indian name. Complains too much. By my Indian name, Soaring Eagle.
Very well, Soaring Eagle. I shall do as you ask in honor of your noble heritage.
Thank you, Ma. Now, what hard but honest labor do you have for me this fine day?
The herds, Soaring Eagle. We must get them to market or everything'll be lost.
I don't know, Ma. How can you and I possibly drive that herd all the way by ourselves?
I guess we have time to go into town, hire a few sturdy hands, and drive the herd over the next 2 weeks.
Indeed. It's not as if beef cattle go bad like crops, and the trains run every month.
You bet. There's no drama in Diablo Gulch today. Except that if we don't get that herd in tomorrow, the lien on our property will expire.
Oh, no.
And everything we have will fall into the hands of that no-good crook, Black Bart.
That's a little insensitive, isn't it, Ma?
That no-good crook, Beige Bart. That no-good crook, Green Bart. That no-good crook, Black Bart, who is actually Caucasian but is known to wear black most of the time.
In the name of all that's good and just, we can't let him get away with it, Ma.
We won't, Soaring Eagle.
Who?
That's you, remember? You wanted to be called.
Right. Second thought.
We won't let him get away with it, Roger.
I'm with you all the way, Ma. Now, if we just... Ma, look, there!
What is it?
There, riding up on a fiery black steed. It's Black Bart himself.
Let me do the talking, Junior. I don't want any fistfights.
There won't be... Junior? There won't be any fistfights, Ma. But if he tries anything, I got my pistol ready.
Put that away. You want to cause a sit-in in Congress?
What?
Put that away. You want to cause a gunfight?
I won't start nothing, but I'll sure shoot and finish it.
Just put it away. I'll have no gunplay on my ranch.
Oh, all right. Here comes Black Bart on his fiery steed. Here comes Black Bart on an even better fiery steed. Here comes Black Bart on whatever the sound effects department could come up with.
Well, hello there, Ma Carson, Soaring Eagle. Beautiful day, isn't it?
What do you want here, Bart?
I'm having trouble with my horse. Surely you wouldn't deny a neighbor a helping hand.
Don't trust him, Ma. He got a hold of the Johnson's reins by pretending his horse needed an oil change.
Now, what reason have you to mistrust me, boy? What have I ever done to you?
Nothing. Not a single thing.
So you have no reason to think ill of me?
No, I really don't.
Shake on it?
Sure. Except for the fact that you killed my father, Soaring Eagle the First.
Now, Soaring Eagle the Second, that was back during the Indian Wars. We're all friends now.
Yeah, right. With my people on a reservation and rich white folks like Ma Carson grabbing as much land as they want.
Wait, what?
When will there be justice for the tribe?
I feel for you and your people, Soaring Eagle. And I'll do everything in my power to regain the land you lost to white encroachment.
What the hell's going on?
I knew I could count on you, Bart. Let's start by getting this herd to market. They should be worth a pretty penny.
Wait.
Then I'll call in the lien on this ranch and donate it back to the tribe. Ma Carson will have to skulk back to wherever she came from.
I am not going back to Detroit.
We will have our hunting grounds once again.
Wait.
Right after we pay Ma Carson a fair rate for this land.
You sure?
Well, she did raise me from a pup. I figured the least we could do is make her the richest woman in the territory.
Well, I guess that could work out. I shall move into town and open a brothel.
It is a grand day for all.
This concludes this episode of The Carsons of Diablo Gulch. Tune in next time when we'll hear Ma Carson say,
What do you mean the main street belongs to the Indians?
Oh, First Draft Playhouse, one of our most enduring and popular programs here on Radio Icebox. It is currently about 7:31 on our wonderful broadcast day. Thank you so much, folks, for coming out. And Darcy Sullivan is back at the microphone. Thank you again for joining us. What do you have for us this time?
Ooh, Shady Grove, an old oldie.
Old oldie.
An old oldie.
Old oldie. Well, you freshen it up very nicely by your wonderful spirit. Darcy Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheeks as red as a blooming rose, eyes of the deepest brown. You are the darling of my heart, stay until the sun goes down. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away. Peaches in the summertime, apples in the fall. If I can't have my pretty little miss, I'll have no one at all. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away. Shady Grove, my little love, standing in the door, shoes and stockings in her hand, little bare feet on the floor. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away.
Darcy, thank you so much. She'll be back with another tune a little bit later in the show. This portion of our broadcast today brought to you by
Low Tech Pierre's Fish Finderless Guide Service. If you're ready to fish like a man instead of depending on godless technology, then check out Low Tech Pierre's Fish Finderless Guide Service. Pierre himself knows the entire lake like the back of his hand and will guarantee you'll catch your limit or your money back. Some limitations apply. Why risk battery burnout, electrocution, dim screen disorder, or being publicly ridiculed by low-tech Pierre when you can just hire him and enjoy a day on the lake with an 80-year-old telling stories about what he did during the war? That's low-tech Pierre's. Ask for him by name at the Muni on Saturday nights, Loon's Nest on weekdays, and the Viking Friday afternoon, unless that uppity waitress is working.
Okay, it's time now for a brand new feature on Radio Icebox, one I myself am very excited about. It's Travel with Dawn and Dora, brought to you by the Icebox Travel Agency. When you're afraid of the internet, come crawling back to us at iceboxtravel.com. So, Dawn, Dora, thank you so much for joining us here today.
It's all right.
What is?
What?
You said it was all right. What you talk?
I'm talking to the man.
Huh? Oh.
Dawn, Dora, since this is our first show, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourselves?
Oh, sure.
Could you do that now?
He wants you to talk.
All right. Talk about what?
Well, you two have traveled quite a bit, correct?
Oh, I don't know. My sister, she travels all the time.
Stay one step ahead of the law.
What was that?
Nothing, dear. Nothing.
Maybe I need to explain. Dawn and Dora are two retirees from right here in Icebox. They love to travel. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. We've been all over. St. Cloud, the cities, Badette.
Yes, and since you're so well-traveled, we thought it'd be fun for the two of you to do a travel segment here on the station. Tell the listeners all about the many exciting places you visited.
Oh, good idea. When should we come in?
You're doing it now.
Oh, okay. I'll agree to that.
He wants to hear about our trip to Texas, dear.
Oh, he doesn't want to hear about that.
He does. That's why he invited us in, to hear about Texas.
Yes, I'd love to hear about Texas. Is that your most recent trip?
Oh, no. It was in 1994.
You went there in 1994?
Yep.
Well, if you remember it all this time, must have been a pretty memorable trip.
Oh, not really.
Clarice's wedding was in Austin. We stayed at that nice Best Western.
It wasn't a Best Western.
It was.
No, it wasn't. You're thinking of Barstow, that place with the thing.
What thing?
You know, the place. That guy with the thing.
I never know what you're talking about.
The thing, Dora. The thing.
You keep yelling like it's going to make more sense if it's louder, but it won't.
Why don't we switch gears here and learn about your most recent trip?
Yes. Well, most recently, we visited the Boundary Waters canoe area north of Ely.
Oh, that sounds great. It's a beautiful area.
Maybe. We never left the hotel room.
You visited the Boundary Waters and never left the room?
Oh, no, don't be an idiot. We left the room.
Okay, good.
We went down to breakfast every morning, except the biscuits and gravy gave this one the deadly vapors.
Donald!
Well, they did. And you couldn't leave them alone, could you? No matter how many times I told you.
They don't want to hear about that on the radio.
We'll talk about the radio when we get there.
You're on the radio now.
No, I don't think so. Are we?
You shouldn't talk about private matters in public.
Well, it wasn't very private when you got to tootin'.
Donald!
Woman cleared a room full of duck hunters in 5 minutes.
Maybe we should change the subject. What's the farthest away you've traveled?
Well, that would probably be Europe.
Oh, you've been to Europe?
Twice. We visited England 5 years ago, and then Italy and Spain the year after that.
I see. Well, tell us all about that.
Well, the Best Western in Rome had very good biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
And they drive on the right-hand side of the road in England.
Right. Wait. No, they don't.
You ever been to England?
No.
Then you don't know what you're talking about, do you, Sonny Jim?
But they don't drive on the right. They drive on the left.
I've been there, and they drive on the right.
No, we drive on the right. They drive on the left.
I thought you just said you never been to England.
He's right, dear.
What?
He's right. They drive on the left in England.
How do you know? You don't drive at all.
Look, it's a well-known fact that England, Japan, Australia, a handful of other countries, they drive on the left, whereas all the other countries, including the U.S. and Canada, we drive on the right.
Boy, you talk so good you ought to be on the radio.
We drive on the right.
All right. Don't get excited.
Oh, maybe this was a mistake.
Fellow doesn't know how to drive. Must have a complex about it.
Could you just tell us about Europe?
Well, the biscuits and gravy in Naples.
Not
were
about biscuits and gravy.
When you get into a car, what side do you sit on?
What?
The driver's seat? What side is it on?
Well, it's on the left, but
And
that's
there
not.
you go.
What?
You drive on the right in England. That's the side of the car you're on, I remember, because I kept forgetting and getting in on the left. Had to scooch over, and it was a stick shift, so if I didn't pay attention, I'd sit on the darn thing. And...
But that's not the side of the road they drive on.
No, it is. You go to England, and the driver's seat is clear over on the other side, like I said.
It's true, it is.
But that's not. I mean, look, the seat is on the right, but they drive on the left.
Oh, you're confused.
Okay, whatever. Let's just move on.
To where?
Well, maybe he'd like to hear about Moscow.
Yes, please. Moscow sounds fascinating. I would love to hear about Moscow.
Well, it's north of Boise a little ways, and it's the home to the University of Idaho.
Oh, no.
You know, the Best Western there was a little subpar, but we found a diner run by a woman from Georgia. Oh, her biscuits and gravy were delicious.
That about does it for this edition of Travel with Dawn and Dora.
Oh, good. Because we have to get down to the radio station.
This is the first in a weekly series brought to you by Icebox Travel. When you're afraid of the internet, come crawling back to us at iceboxtravel.com. Oh. After that, Darcy, I could really use a song.
Sure.
What do you got?
I got an old Mississippi John Hurt song.
All right, Mississippi John.
Kind of traveling, I don't know.
That's not the movie actor, is it? John Hurt? This is Mississippi John.
Mississippi John,
Mississippi John Hurt.
Ooh, I do love John Hurt as well, though.
I'd love to hear John Hurt sing this song, so sing it for us. Is that enough banter? Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Darcy Sullivan.
Making me down a pallet on your floor. Making me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet soft and low. When I'm broken, I got nowhere to go. Been hanging around with the good time friends of mine. Hanging around with the good time friends of mine. Oh, they treat me very nice and kind. When I got $1 and a dime, wearing blues everywhere I see. Wearing blues everywhere I see. Wearing blues, honey, everywhere I see. No one's ever had the blues like me. The way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. The way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. Come tomorrow, I'll be satisfied if I can't catch that fast train and ride. So making me down a pallet on your floor. Making me down a pallet on your floor. Make down a pallet soft and low. When I'm broken, I got nowhere to go. When I'm broken, I got nowhere to go.
All right. Darcy Sullivan. Okay, currently 7:44 here at Radio Icebox. And It's time once again for the premiere event here on our station. It's Radio Icebox Playhouse, all the best in drama and comedy for a town that doesn't get TV. We have a special live presentation today as the Radio Icebox Actors Guild presents the poignant family drama, Fire Maidens of the Death Sun.
I never saw eye to eye with my father. Not since I was little, anyway.
Dad?
Looking back now, I'm surprised we didn't kill each other, or worse. But we didn't. And it was that 19th year, my last one at home, that made all the difference.
Dad, have you seen my tempura headdress?
Your what?
That's Dad. Or that was Dad, a few years ago. Or at least that's how I remember him. And the girl, that was me.
I told you not to move it. Why did you move it?
I didn't touch anything.
Well, it was right here. It was in a white box.
Well, why didn't you say so? It's in the pantry.
I thought you said you didn't move it.
In the pantry.
That was us most of the time. Or at least it had been for the previous few years. Mom had passed when I was little, just 4. Dad had done the best he could, as they say, and for the first decade or so, I was a regular little tomboy. Fishing with him all summer long, going up the shack on opening weekend.
Just wait.
I think I can hit him.
You don't shoot until you're sure, Cora. Otherwise, you'll end up chasing him through 5 miles of brush.
Things changed when I was about 13, like they're wont to. And it wasn't boys that caused us to grow apart. It was books. Books and movies and radio shows. There was a bookshelf in our attic filled with titles that had belonged to Mom. Dad never had the strength to throw them out, I guess. One cold winter, I started spending time up there, and I met Bilbo Baggins and the Dragon Riders of Pern, and Lovecraft and Ray Bradbury, and especially The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was great escaping into fantasy realms with the others, but that last book was the one that made the change. Hitchhiker's Guide made it all seem so cool.
What? You still reading that book?
Rereading.
What's so funny?
Oh, you wouldn't understand.
And it wasn't long after that I went to my first convention, which led to costuming, cosplay for those of you in the know, which by and by did lead to boys, leading to more conventions. Dad never changed. He owned a bait shop and guide service, and his customers were steady, if not frequent. When college time came around, I chose the cities and a theater degree. You can imagine how that went over. But it was my life and mostly my scholarships and student loans, so it was my decision. Best one I ever made. Everyone in the theater department was so alive, so passionate. Nothing at all like home.
I said the white box.
Which brings us to this scene. The white hat box with a headdress I'd worked on for 6 months, and Dad looking on disapprovingly. I still think he might have hid it on purpose.
Found it.
This was the summer after my freshman year. I went home to my mother's sewing machine in the attic with a plan to design and build a new costume for 6, count 'em 6, conventions that summer. I was full of plans and full of myself, like you generally are at that age. And it was all coming together for me. And I would learn later, coming apart for Dad.
Why Madison?
Coming apart at the seams.
What?
I say, why Madison? It's so far.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's so far. Why not just go to that one in the cities?
If you were paying any attention at all, you know that Convergence is not until July. Comic-Con Madison is this weekend.
Why can't you go to the other?
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
But it's all the way in Madison. How you gonna...
I have a ride from Duluth. I can take the bus that far.
The bus?
Yes, Father. I am, not as yet, too dignified for the bus.
Well, how about this ride? Who you riding with?
A friend.
Someone you met at one of your conventions, I bet?
It is, as a matter of fact. Well, sort of.
What's that mean?
And don't worry about it.
I'm going to worry about it when my daughter's going to take off clear across the country with a perfect stranger.
He's not a stranger.
He? It's a boy?
He's not a stranger. I met his sister at Anime Detour last year. We're going to pick her up in St. Paul, and then we'll head over.
Well, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Besides, I
What?
Well, I seen the calendar you put up. You're going to be gone practically every weekend this summer.
I'm only going to 6 cons. That means only half of the summer.
School year be back before you know it.
Not soon enough.
What's that?
Nothing. I said, I know.
It's just... Well, I worry about you, Cora. What?
Nothing.
What? You don't think I worry? Here you are riding all over the country for these parties.
They're not parties. They're conventions.
I seen your pictures. They look like parties to me.
You have no idea what a convention is like. We discuss books, favorite movies, and they're a great resource for a customer.
I seen those pictures, you know.
What pictures?
These here. I think you was in Fargo that weekend.
Since when are you on Facebook?
From the looks of these pictures, your friends need an awful lot of beer to have intellectual discussions.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You drinking at these parties, Cora?
No! I'm only 19!
Oh, well, I guess that makes it impossible, but if one of those parties should get raided, you could end up in jail. What would that do to your scholarships? You thought of that? What?
Raided? They aren't speakeasies, Dad. And I think they repealed prohibition.
Not for 19-year-olds, they didn't.
I am not drinking.
Everyone else seemed to be.
Do you see me drinking in any of these photos?
Of course not. You were the one with the camera.
Then you'll have to take my word for it. There. That's the last one.
All right, then.
What?
Oh, nothing. You set on going?
Of course. What is it?
I don't know. I just thought... You and I haven't been fishing in a long time. What?
Nothing.
Oh, no, what? You made the little noise like your mom used to make.
You want to take me fishing?
Yes.
For the first time in how many years?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose you were about 15?
So why do you want to go now?
Well, I had an open day, and I thought you may be able to skip one of those conventions for once and go out with your old man.
Why don't you just go out on your own?
I want to take you.
Uh-huh. Sure you do.
What's this about now?
I can see right through you, Dad. I've always been able to see right through you.
What?
You don't have a job this weekend.
So? I mean, no, I don't, but what?
You're a fishing guide. It's June, and you've got no clients. It'd be better for you to be seen with somebody than on your own.
Well, that's...
Did you want me to go in costume? Maybe I can come up with some disguise.
Is it so impossible that I just wanted to take you fishing?
It seems a little unlikely, yes. You haven't asked me in 4 years.
I didn't think you'd want to go.
Well, you didn't ask. Excuse me, I gotta walk downtown. The bus leaves in 20 minutes.
I'll drive you.
You don't.
You got 3 suitcases. Don't be stubborn.
Thank you for the ride.
Yep. Bus isn't here yet.
They're generally late.
Yep. Sorry, Sorry.
What?
Just saying, I'm sorry if I made things weird back there.
Oh.
But I didn't want to take you out just to have someone in the boat. That ain't the way it is.
Okay.
I mean, well, everyone knows you. They know you weren't no customer. I wanted to go fishing with you.
Let's go when I get back. Some weekday when you don't have a customer.
Thought you had a lot of sewing to do.
I have 2 weeks before Fargo. There's plenty of time.
Oh, well, all right then. We'll plan on it.
All right. Why do you want to go fishing with me?
What?
Why do you want to go fishing? I mean, why now? It's been 4 years.
Well, I don't know, I guess. I mean, when you were at home, felt like we had all the time in the world. Just got away from me.
You could have asked any time.
Maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, I did ask once. You were, about 16, about the time you were dating that boy from Little Fork.
Darren? And for the last time, we weren't dating.
Oh, whatever you say, Cora.
Dad, Darren did not date me. He did not date any girls. Understand?
Oh.
Right.
Oh, that explains why he was always over here using your sewing machine.
Whatever. I don't remember you ever asking me to go fishing.
Oh, wasn't anything to remember. You were on your way somewhere. I asked you if you want to go out that weekend, and you just...
What? I just what?
You laughed at me, rolled your eyes, and made a big chuckle.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. You were only 16. I suppose in your world, my kind of man's pretty ridiculous.
No.
It's the way of things, ain't it? You're growing up, that's all. Couldn't expect you to be a guide for a living.
No.
Not with a theater arts degree, anyway.
Don't start.
I'm not starting anything.
Yes, you are. And what's wrong with theater arts?
Nothing.
I'm good at it. I'm on the dean's list.
I'm sure Dean's very happy about that.
No, dean's list.
I know what it means. I ain't stupid.
I know that. I don't know what I am. Tired of fighting, I guess.
I'm not fighting.
You're snipping away at me. And I don't even know why. Don't I have the right to pick my own major?
Well, of course you do.
And it's not like there's a ton of jobs out there. If I'm going to spend all my money and get a degree, I want it to be for something I love doing.
That's some attitude.
Would you rather me be a lawyer or something?
I just want you to be okay. And it seems to me that these costumes and these conventions are just a big waste of time.
You don't understand.
Oh, I understand plenty. I ain't that different from when you used to play dress up and after your mom died, I just...
What? You just what?
I just wanted you to be okay. You know, happy.
You don't think I'm not happy doing this?
Well, no, I imagine you are for now. But what happens in a few years when there ain't student loan checks and then the rent comes due?
I'll deal with that when it comes.
That ain't no way planned for your future, Cora.
You know something better?
Yeah. You could get yourself a degree with a future. Something you could rely on.
Like what?
Well, Pete Torgeson's daughter's going into accounting.
Heather always loved math. I got C's.
Well, why not a lawyer? You talk real good.
Dad.
I don't know, just something. I never was good with words. I'm just not saying it right.
I get it. My life isn't good enough for you.
No!
No? Then what is it about? I don't understand.
I just don't like the idea of you down there in the cities and in some apartment, winter coming on, and no money for heat. I just don't like it.
The cities?
Sure. That's where you live, isn't it?
You thought I was moving to the cities.
What?
Dad, let me show you something. You see this dress?
Oh, of course.
This is an original Thentira from the Fire Maidens of Death Sun. It's a cult movie classic from the 50s. The movie was ridiculous, but some of the costumes designs were groundbreaking.
Okay.
A girl at my school commissioned this from me. I'm taking it to her now. She can only pay me about $50, but she's gorgeous. And when she wears this dress in a masquerade, her picture's going to be all over Instagram.
What the hell's Instagram?
It's an internet thing. Point is, people are going to see this, and they're going to ask about the dress, and they're going to want to know who made it. And that leads to commissions. Costumes for theater, cosplay for conventions. I can sew, Dad. I can sew really, really well.
So could your mom.
You can make a living doing this. There's already a woman mentoring me. We met on the last con. You can actually do this for a living, but you gotta get out there and get seen. That's why I go to conventions.
Make a living.
Right.
Sewing.
Costume building. But yeah.
And you can afford rent in the cities on this?
Dad, I never was gonna move to the cities. Not permanently. Don't you see? Building these costumes is a way I can stay here.
Oh.
I mean, I'd need to go down to the cities probably a couple times a month for fittings and such, and I'll need to start going to the national conventions if I'm going to make it. But you got to have a home base. I just figured my home base could be home.
Oh,
I mean, I'd work on getting my own place. Maybe a house with a couple of girls.
you weren't planning to leave?
Never. This is home. It'll always be home. And if I can do my job on the internet...
But how much can you make doing costumes for conventions and such?
Dad, how much did you ever make being a guide? Did you do it because of the money or because you love to fish?
I suppose, yeah.
I learned it from you, Dad. Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Grandpa used to say that.
I know.
Bus.
Bus is here.
Yeah. You got everything?
I got everything. Thanks for the ride.
Sure. Cora?
Yeah?
Fishing when you get back?
Yeah. Bye, Daddy. I love you.
I love you too, sweetheart. Have fun.
Okay.
And not too much drinking.
Okay.
With, of course, Tom Bement and Scotta Turner. Well, it is currently right 8 o'clock, top of the hour, and that means we have just a little bit more time before the rain comes. They keep moving it out, but it is in the forecast. Darcy, do you have another song for us to send us out? Okay, fantastic. One last time. Ladies and gents, it's Darcy Sullivan.
I am a poor, wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of woe. But there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to meet my mother. Said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going until home. I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way will be rough and steep, but beautiful fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed the vigils keep. I'm going there to meet my loved ones, gone on before me, one by one. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going until home. I'll soon be free of earthly trials. My body rest in the old churchyard. I drop this cross a self-denial. Then I'll go singing home to God. I'm going there, me and my Savior, dwell with Him and never roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going unto home.
Darcy Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that about brings us to the end of our broadcast day, but a great cast deserves repeating. Folks, introduce yourselves to the audience here.
Ayla McIntosh.
Yes.
Vicki Olson.
Tom Bement.
Gabia Yunt.
Scotta Turner.
Cody Boyer.
And Justin Kapla.
And I'm Jeff Adams. We are the Icebox Radio Theater, creators of Radio Icebox. Darcy, you have your very own concert right here on the band shell. When? I forget. Next week. So come back if you like that. Come on back a week from now. The weather's going to be great. And we do, of course, want to thank all the sponsors. Let's see if I can remember all 10 from memory. It's going to be Border State Bank and Bremer Bank and TrueStar Federal Credit Union and Boise Super One, City Drug, Worley Motors, Lukachik Family Dental, Chocolate Mousse, and that sounds about right. So, folks, thank you so much for coming out. If you want to listen to the show again, just search for us on a website called Spreaker or look for it on Facebook because it's going to be there momentarily. Thanks very much. See you next week. Good night.